Oh, morning. Okay, it's a bit shit today, isn't it? No motorcycle today. Oh, I better get rid of that. Otherwise YouTube would be turning me off for all sorts of music violations. Okay. Morning everyone. Oh, dearie me. Trying out a new lapel thing. Except there's no hooky thing on it, so it's not very good. Now, today, I'm just doing these videos because I'm bored when it comes to driving. And I've got an hour to drive now. As you know, if you've watched my other videos where I usually take my motorcycle, except it's horrible, it's raining. So, I've had in the back of my mind to write a book. Now, shitloads of people write books, but I've had it in my mind to write a book about my, well, it's not, it hasn't come from me, it's come from everyone else going, oh Rob, you should write a book. Just because of my the things that go on in my life. Come on, traction control, come on, you can do it. Good Prius. We're in silver Prius today, or commonly known as Scarface, because of the state of it, because it's just a shed. And I'll tell you what, it's the best car I've ever had. Actually, it's the longest car I've ever had. And traffic check, oh, loads of traffic. So that's good, so you'll see me get Robbie Rage in traffic. So anyway, lots of people have said I should write my book, a memoir. I could have wrote my book at bloody 30, the amount of shit that's gone on in my life. So it's been like most people's lives, really. It's been a bit shit sometimes, and it's been a bit great. At the minute, we're on kind of a level greatness, so it's quite good. But it's been shit, and sometimes it's been difficult to carry on. Don't need to go into more on that. But I've done so much. My mum used to, I had a friend at school, done nothing, left school, got his father's business, worked in that, nice girlfriend, nice house, nice kids, and that's it. That's all he's ever done. That's the one career. He's only ever had one career. And my mum saw him, and she said, oh, it seemed a bit sad that that's all he'd ever done. That's all he's ever done. He's got up, he's gone to work, and he's obviously happy, but that's his life. That's what he's done. And then you look at my careers, and these are careers that I've qualified in. So not just like, oh, I'll do it for a week and then leave it. I tend to qualify in them. So this job I'm currently looking, well, I've been doing it over a year. I've been doing it 15, 16, 17, 18 months, something like that. So in nearly 2 years, I'm working with ABIs, acquired brain injuries. So that ranges from people that have had strokes to brain injuries from tumours, brain injuries from swimming incidents, mitochondrial disease where your DNA is going loopy in every cell and you're dying, which is where I'm going to now. And it's a very strange relationship you get with your clients because you do care for them. I was in that wasn't a great time when he was in hospital and I thought he was going to die. I mean, you're with this guy 36 hours a week and you're with him 12 hours a day. And I think I see him more than my missus, because obviously we both work. So I probably see my client more than I see my missus. So you're gonna, and if you get on with your client, you get on with your client. There are clients who just you can't work with. You know, you will. It's like banging your head against a brick wall. Oh fuck me, that's not very good, is it? So, just a car randomly sat on the side of the road. So it's quite interesting. So I may even look at doing my MVQ in that. But I've been kind of toying with the idea of a little moment. Then I thought I'd forgotten my computer and my sandwiches. You know, that moment. Oh, like the phone moment. Start patting yourself all over. I'll put my old hazards on before everyone goes up my asshole. Like this van coming past. Look. So, I've done it again. I'm trying to turn my hazards off and pressing my park button. What are we doing that for? So, I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh yeah, working. So I might go and do like the MVQ. Might do the MVQ thing in brain injuries and stuff, or whatever else training. If someone offers you training, take it. If someone's willing to pay for your training, do it. And if anyone's younger watching this and you're at school, take your language lessons. Because I'm with an Argentinian now, and I wish I took Spanish at school. And the advice everyone's been giving me since I've been going out with an Argentinian about learning Spanish, or trying to learn Spanish, a poquito, is do it when you're young. Fucking great bit of advice. Love it. Talk about hindsight. So, I just realised I washed my face. Oh, I just forgot to do my teeth. Oh, I was cuddling the dog. That's not a euphemism. Yeah, do your training. Learn your languages. That's one bit of advice. But I'm meant to be talking to you today about my book. Do I write a book? So, I'm going to give you sort of a brief rundown of all the amazing, interesting things that I've got up to. And can someone leave comments and just tell me if they would buy it? Because that's the thing, isn't it? There's no point writing it if no one's going to buy it. Now, I still don't know what title it has. I don't know whether the title it has, I don't know, bouncing back, carrying on, not giving up, life. I have no idea what to call it, because my life is fucking amazing. Or it's been amazing. It's been shit and amazing. I didn't really think much. I had no idea what was going to happen. I kind of had it that when you're a kid and your parents go, oh, what do you want to do when you get older? Oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Oh, you could do this. You could do that. You could do that. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And then you sort of end up going, what happened to merge and intern? Or did you just forget about that? Did you just fucking forget that you have to merge and turn? Did you? Yeah. So there's about as much Robbie rage as you get from me. So Prius Robbie rage. It's Prius rage. You don't get Robbie rage in a Prius. Because it's Prius, and they tend not to make you have Robbie rage because they're just brilliant. And I wanted to be a vet. You know, I was bouncing between a vet and a medic in the army. Probably years of being brought up on All Creatures Great and Small and MASH. Yeah, that could be why. I've never thought of that. Grown up. Or Weetabix, more like it. So I then went to school with a passion for learning and a passion for sponging every sort of bit of information, and it turned out I couldn't write quickly. And my words would get jumbled up, and my letters would get jumbled up. Even now, who and how, fucking hell, who and how, and I've only just learned how to spell tomorrow. And I'm 46, and I've only just managed to write tomorrow right. But when you're at school, I mean, no one cares if I spell tomorrow wrong. If I'm writing on my charts and stuff and doing my paperwork and I write tomorrow and spell it wrong, is the world going to end? No. Has the world ended? Well, Corona's come about, but I don't think it's about me writing tomorrow on a piece of paper wrong. So And that was it. There was no word processing, there was no typing, there was no computers. The computer we had was an BBC, don't know. Old big thing, red letters on the top. So that was the nearest we got to a word processor, and you could use it for about 10 minutes at a time to play something called the Urban Fox, which was like a block game. And that was it. That was the nearest we got to a word processor. So there was no secondary option like now. I can just type everything. If I need to write a letter, an email, I just type it. Oh, and there's this magical thing called spell check, so I don't have to learn about tomorrow. And when you're at school, I used to have my book thrown at me. So you have your exercise book, and they would throw my book at me regularly. I'm not marking that spider right in, stop, and literally throw the book at me. Usually followed by a board rubber, which was a block of wood with felt on it that you used to rub the chalk writing off the board. And it was a block of wood, and it would hurt if it hit you. And the teachers would just throw it, whoosh, just throw it at you. So, yeah, that was a little bit of an interesting time to sort of, I wonder if I could hook that on my ear or something. I wasn't ready for it not having a clipper. It's probably really croaky now. So that was my school time. So you can imagine it wasn't very good, and you go to parents' evenings and the teachers are telling your parents, oh, if he could tell us everything he knew, he'd be a genius. I used to read encyclopedias and watch Open University. I'd get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and watch these weird science people talk about Open University lectures and stuff, and sit there reading encyclopedias, and then getting picked on at primary school because, was it infant school? Yeah, it might have been infant school. When I was really small, we had to have a hanky, and my mum got called into school because I had handkerchiefs with pictures of girls on, and they were like, oh, can we have a word with you about his behaviour, blah blah blah. He started to bring a hanky in. His hankies have got girls on them. Why have they not got like cowboys and shit on them? And my mum just turned around and said, he doesn't like boys, he likes girls. That's the end of the argument. He likes girls. Always liked girls. Always liked girls. Always would be found, my mates would be playing football, I'd be sat with my girls from the stables and horsey girls and girls I know, and they'd be plaiting my hair. I'd much prefer to spend my time in the company of women rather than my mates. I've never been one of these who go out on a lad night out. What's that about? I've never understood a lad night out. And to be honest, we were joking about it the other day on one of these wedding programme things, and they all went out on the piss and we go, ah! None of my mates have done that. We've never been, oh yeah, let's go out as a group of lads and go, hey! We've never done that. And I've never understood it. If we're going out on the piss, odds are our women are coming with us, and you get pissed together. So that's I've never understood this last night. But I'm meant to be talking about my book. So, would you like to hear my life? So I'm going to give you a quick rundown eventually of what I've done in my life. So I went through school, obviously wanted to be a vet, wanted to be a what's he doing? They are sat. Oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Sat on their deck chairs behind their trailer, just sat there. So anyway, when you go through school and there's no such thing as dyslexic, there's no such thing as ADHD, there's no such thing as anything, no labels. You were just highly intelligent but disruptive, short attention span, could try harder. Although on one of my French books I found I did get 9 out of 10 and the teacher said could tried harder. Well, yeah, I could get fucking 10. So that's fucking 90% fucking right. Oh yeah, you could try harder. Well, fucking yeah, I could. But fucking 9 out of 10's pretty good. So I didn't really enjoy school. Had a few bullies, rode horses, called a puffer all the time. And long hair. Fucking hell, I was asking for a kicking. Oh, and Dunlops. Couldn't have Nike Air, couldn't afford that. I was brought up, if we had syrup in the house, we were rich, and I made the mistake of telling my mates that once. So that went round the school, so I got in a bit of shit there. And yeah, it means, if there's any kids watching this who are being bullied, it means fuck all. School time means nothing. When you leave school, when I left school, I thought I'm never going to be bullied again. There could be a good reason why my bullying happened. Do things happen for a reason? All these little things, everything happens for a reason. Really? Having me bollock chopped off? Well, the obvious reason was that it was cancer, wasn't it? But I don't know why I got it in my lungs. So tell me that one. Tell me that one. So there's loads of things. Everything happens for a reason. I'm a bit bemused about that. But bullying, I'll come on to that hopefully, whether that helped in later life. So I had a bit of a shit time really. My exam results were shit, even to the extent where I got told in a council meeting as a parish councillor, oh well, not everyone can have degrees like you, because of the way I held myself in council chambers and stuff, and would go to the big council chambers and argue and stand up in auditoriums and do meetings and shit like that. At which point I did enjoy standing up and saying I left school with nothing. So I don't know where you get your degrees from, which kind of put them in their place, which is quite good. It's quite good doing that. So I left school, had that instilled in me, and of course it's, oh, you want to be a vet? Yeah, you'd be a really fucking good vet. You'd be brilliant at being a vet, and but you need all these qualifications, and when you're having your book thrown at you, you don't get put forward to do your qualifications. So bang goes that career. And yet that is a career that I probably would have excelled at. Although, yeah, I probably would have, because it's interesting, it still fascinates me. Check out my squirrel splint video where I made a splint for a squirrel's leg. I'm a hedgehog, I'm a guinea bot side, so I'm still quite animally orientated. I mean, Super Vet comes on, I'm there. So, but that career door then closes. It's like, it seems so far away, you do give up. You do look for something else. And my horses were my second. I fell in love with sitting on an animal in control, and people say, oh, you have a gift to ride. And again, no one taught me that. I couldn't afford lessons like a lot of people. I used to have one lesson a week if I was lucky, and sometimes that was for free because I worked so hard. But then that turned me into a better rider, because the only rides I could get was for shit animals that no one would ride, so indirectly turned you into a better rider. Loads of shit animals to ride, but a lot of them, it wasn't the animals, it was the people. So most horses, it's not the horse, it's the environment and the people it's been brought up in, and they'll remember everything. It's quite an important thing for horsey people to live by. Some old bloke told me this one is they remember everything. The reason why you'll suddenly get a horse that's head shy, you punch him in the face once, so you'd be head shy, which is, oh, you lift your hand up, oh. And that just backs up the point. He said to me, horses remember everything, to the extent, if you said to a horse, what did you have 4 years ago for breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning? And he would go, well, actually, I had some barley, a little bit of oats, and some linseed. That's how good their memory is, and they will remember people, smells, shapes, all sorts of stuff. We're digressing a little bit on horses. Maybe I should do a video on just horses and my life with horses. So anyway, horses took over, and that was it. So obsession, real OCD, and back then there was no internet, there was just books. So even down to like 16th century horsemanship and stuff I was reading, because I couldn't get enough information on horses, to the extent now this is still filled with 35 years of horses, which has rapidly changed because the people that taught me have died. So you've got their 35 years of knowledge gone. And there's my 35 years of knowledge locked in my head that I'm not using. But it's still there. It's still nice to bring it out every now and then and wow people. Now, that was it. That was my world. Horses and surfing. That was my world. And cars. So horses, surfing, cars. That was my that was my entire upbringing in Newquay. So I loved it. I loved my life. I've had just the best life, varied. So I left school, thought, right, I'm going to do me horses. So that was me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do horses. And I went to college, and I got my BHS 1, 2 and 3, got my PTT, got my road safety at 11. I did a couple of the ABRS test things. We didn't have Pony Club much. And did all that and got my national certificate in the management of horses, which for someone who can't really write, and there wasn't really a word processing option, it's pretty good, because it just says it all, doesn't it? I left school thinking, as soon as I left school, if I had to fill a form in the bank or something, somebody would stand behind me and go, come on, hurry up, you need to write quicker, hurry up, you need to get that form back to me. And it was it sounds silly now, but that's how indoctrinated I was, that I was surprised when I went and filled a bank form in. I think that was the first time it twigged, and they said, oh, could you fill this form in? Yeah, I can fill a form in. And the hots come in you. The anxiety, that would be. So the hots, you think people are looking at you and looking at your writing and looking how fast you're writing. God, look at that. That's how mentally abused I was at school. I've never thought of that, until talking to you now. I went into Nationwide Bank and filled some forms in, and I'm literally hot, thinking, and only once, quite recently, they mistook I can't remember what I wrote. I wrote something. She said, oh, is that so-and-so? And she put a line through it and did it again. So up until I was 45, no one's ever criticised a form I filled in, paperwork I filled in. No one has said, hurry up, I'm going to rub it off the board, you need to have wrote it quicker, I'm not marking that spider. Never had it. I've never had that. And in my job now, bearing in mind my hands are fucked from chemo, so my handwriting's got even shittier, I have to write in block capitals. I can't write in small anymore, I have to do block capitals. And no one says to me. They laugh sometimes if I say a bowel movement and I put a bowl movement. That's quite funny. Another one, bowl and bowel. So, but to be honest, I did my horsey stuff. I then was asked by my two instructors, who left college and then went off working, breaking racehorses in Ogbourne, Marlborough, Hoblins. Peter Hoblin used to work Peter Hoblin, the Hoblin Goblin. Went and did that for a year and a bit, I think, and did that, loved it. Learned to bounce, learned to break racehorses. Quite sad because they were quite young, really young, and we were breaking them in, and they were money, a lot of money, a lot of money, and some of them were just lovely hacks. They were just such nice horses. They were so good. You'd think, oh, fucking hell, this horse would be great if it wasn't corned up to its eyeballs. We used to feed them a bucket of food when it was feeding time. And I mean a bucket of concentrate. It's no wonder they were fucking loons. It'd be like feeding you Mars bars and cake all day. So, and Coke. So yeah, I did that for a few years. Met a girl, a New Zealander, and she was working in another yard. And she said, do you want to come back to New Zealand with me? And I always had it in the back of my head to go New Zealand, Australia. I always thought I'd end up in New Zealand, Australia. And I'm just checking where this mic is because it hasn't got a clippy thing. And she said, do you want to come do you want to come back with me? And I'm like, ooh. And I was on loads of money, you know. So I was like, yeah. And then just before we left to go New Zealand, me and her, and my brother always said she was only with me to have a base. She was only there to have a base when she was on her OE, her overseas experience. So she was only with me to have a base. Yeah, I think he was right. Because just before I went to New Zealand, I was actually in a tent in Prague. She said to me, woke up and said, oh, do you know what? I don't find you sexually attractive anymore. Fuck! That's fucking a bit fucking cutting, innit? I mean, I'm all for honesty, but fuck. So, but she said she would still help me with my residence, and in the end I just got so, she was throwing that over my head, oh, I won't help you with this if you don't, and I just thought, you know what, fuck off. So I went and lived with her friends. So that was when I was in New Zealand. I was out there breaking racehorses, I was building fencing, I was working on pony clubs, I was making wine racks in someone's shed. What else? I got offered so much work out there. 5 jobs I got offered. So I was out there doing that and track work riding, which was just amazing. So we were at a little place called Takadini. Octagon, Nigel Tiley, Octagon Racing Stables, still going. Actually sent him an email the other day. And he looked old. What the fuck? What's going on there? He looked old. I mean, it was 26, 25 years ago, but he looked really old. I was like, oh, well, fuck. Had some great people, because there's no internet, so it's very difficult to contact these people. So you got Aaron Whedon, Australian jockey. Dwayne, fucking can't even remember his name. Blonde Charlie. There was loads of us. Birdman, Bootsy. All these people I know, fuck knows what their real names are. Birdman and Bootsy, who the fuck are they? And we had the best time playing pranks in New Zealand. Oh, we were terrible. Kicking each other's irons off when we go down the gallop on the iron. So you'd be with your stirrups would be banging as you're going down the track, and we kick each other's irons off. All sorts of weird shit like that. Now, I did that for 6 months, left, did it for another 6 months. So, because I had to leave and go to Australia. So I did Australia for 3 months and did 2 6-month hits in New Zealand. Didn't want to leave. Still want to go back. Desperate to get back there. So I then come home after having literally the time of my life. I went blackwater rafting, where you go through the Waitomo caves on a car tyre. Fucking mental life. So all these little things I could put in a book. Sat in my Mini, throwing up on the carpet. My Mini car, throwing up on the carpet, and my mate's trying to get me out. And I think that might have been Cuz who did that. My mate's trying to get me out on the piss, because I was pissed, puking in my car. Blah. Crisps or tortilla chips I remember coming up, and my mate started to piss on my windscreen, so I put my wipers on, much to everyone thinking that's funny. Oh god, that was a good night. Best party in Takanini that was ever, they said. And it was a lovely party, you know, no fighties, no nothing, it was just great. And so I done that, came back. I'm trying to think what I did when I come. I went and started work as a swim pool engineer, I think. When I come back, and my old boss before I left. Now hang on a minute, he said you'd be back. So I left horses and came back and was working for Kingsley Developers at Carnan Downs and Fradden. And the foreman saw me up here at Fradden. He said, I'm having you. And he said, and I went down there and started working as a ground worker. And then I worked my way up to, no, hang on a minute, that's wrong. That's wrong, because when I left, or maybe I was working in construction. Yeah, maybe I was. Yeah, I think I was. Yeah, so I was doing groundwork. I'd worked my way up from a ground worker. So had I come back then? Because I was working with Christoph Lammy Pie as a ground worker. Wow, I should really write all this down, because I can't remember, because that's really weird, because I've done groundworking, which is where I met Brian Young and worked for him as a swimming pool engineer. That was when I came back. That was it, yes. So I must have been working as a ground worker when I was going out with her. So she must have been over here working, and she had a 2-year work visa. So that might have been right. And then, come on matey potato. And then, what's my fuel like yet? So I did groundwork on a building site. So I worked my way up from being a labourer to a ground worker, so laying all the sites out with a digger driver, so doing all drainage and everything. So I hope this isn't too shaky for you. So I did that, and then I left. But I've always also done plastering, dot and dabbing. So where you stick the plasterboard. So I spent a while doing that with Chris, which we used to play Wavy Davy. Whereas when a car comes towards you, you wave at it like that, right? Both of you, and they go. And then just as they get close to you, you go. And their faces like. Me and Chris were crying our eyes out, literally crying our eyes out one day. And we used to have so much fun on site. I mean, we just loved it. It was the best time doing we never found a straight wall. So you think construction has been bad up until now? No, never found a straight wall. Never found a straight wall in a house. We always had like a gap at the bottom and a small gap at the top. So I digress. So I've done that, dot and dabbing with Chris. I've done groundwork with diggers and stuff. Obviously he drove the digger, I drove the dumpers. It shows you how times have changed. When I started driving plant, the health and safety training, or in-house health and safety training I had on site to drive a 6-ton dumper forward tip was, can you drive a car? Yeah, well, dumper's over there, go and get that. I remember it. One of the developers, that's how he said, go and get that then, you can drive that, you need to drive that. Oh, okay. Fucking hell. Jesus. No MVQs, no training. Can you drive a... God, I sound really old. Can you drive a car? Yeah, well, you can drive that, off you go. And then I was like glued to a dumper. So I did that for a while. I then left, I think, and went to New Zealand, and did the worky fun time out there. Saw the world, came back. Now, I had an interesting story with a bully who used to pick on me, and, well, pick on everything, it wasn't personal, but he really made my life a misery. Came back from New Zealand, brown, like you would not believe, different colour. My forearms were like Popeye from riding and breaking racehorses, like literally lumps bulging out of my arms, because it's all half halted. You're all on this, yeah. It's all this, not this. So, like, I had incredibly huge arm and neck muscles from riding racehorses all the time. And I come back, and I'd been away for what? 18 months, I think. What's that? 12, 15 months. So no, and it's really weird when you're from Nuki, everyone sees you and then poof, you're gone. I didn't think I was coming back. I went into the job centre, because you used to go into a job centre and you used to have the cards on the wall, and you used to pick the card up and go and see a human being and say, I'd like to apply for this job, and they would help you if you needed it. Yeah. Not online. They would help you. Oh, it's Mr. Harris. Oh, I can't speak to Mr. Harris. I'm doing a video. Ian!